Hello, this is Ella McCarthy with my fun balancing equation board game, Reaction Rush. The overall gameplay starts with each player rolling a four-sided die to determine which tile that they start on. The color of the tile that they land on will correspond to the pile of cards that they draw from. Each tile color has their own set of rules. Here are the tile colors: blue, which are reaction squares; purple, which are reaction squares; pink, which are reaction squares; yellow, which are draw power card squares; green, which are draw progress card square; teal, which is to draw a safety card; and orange, which is to draw a chaos card. If the spaces to move forward are not explicitly told on the card or in the directions, then it is assumed that you move forward one space. Reaction squares. When a player lands on a reaction square, they must balance the chemical equation that they draw from the pile. There are three different types of reaction squares that a player can land on: an easy reaction square, which would be blue; a medium reaction square, which would be purple; and a hard reaction square, which is pink. If a player correctly solves an easy equation, then they move forward 2 spaces. If they correctly solve a medium equation, then they move forward 3 spaces. If a player correctly solves a hard equation, then they move forward 4 spaces. There are 3 different piles of cards corresponding to the tile color. For instance, if a player lands on purple, they draw purple, so on and so forth. For each reaction box, the player has 2 minutes to balance the equation. If a player incorrectly solves the equation or runs out of time, then they move backwards 1 space. Power cards. A player draws a power card when they land on a yellow tile. Power cards usually give an advantage to the player that draws them. Power cards can be stashed and used anytime in the game. The different cards a player can draw are catalyst cards, which gives the player the ability to sabotage an opponent by giving them half the amount of time to solve their balanced equation. A temperature spike, which also is a sabotage card, which gives an opponent that they have to double their turn, but they don't get to move double the spaces. Controlled environment, which omits any negative effects from their turn. Balanced instinct, which automatically gives you 1 coefficient, which can be seen in the answer key. Simplify reaction, which can exchange one reaction for another. So if you get a reaction card that looks too difficult to solve or you don't want to deal with it, you could just swap it out for a new one, and it could be any level of difficulty. Activation energy. A player gets 60 seconds extra time for balancing equations. Reduction. A player can take a power card from another player. Mole check. A player can use this if they balance an equation incorrectly, and they can fix one of the coefficients immediately. Perfect balance, which automatically solves the equation while still giving them the reward for solving it. Avogadro's number, which gives you a 6 times multiplier for your reaction, which this one must be used before solving the equation. So you wouldn't pick up the reaction card yet, and you would say, I'm going to play Avogadro's number, pick up the reaction card, and if you get it right, then you move 6 times the amount forward. Neutralization. If a negative effect is put on you, you can ignore it. And this can be used for power cards or chaos cards. So if someone tries to sabotage you, you can neutralize it. Or if the chaos card says move backwards 3, you could be like, I'm not going to move backwards 3, and play your neutralization card. Buffer solution. If an opponent puts a negative effect on you, play this card to omit it. And this is only for power cards, not for chaos cards. Conservation override. Ignore one mistake the player made and still move forward. Identify reaction. You can play this on an opponent, and they must identify the type of reaction immediately before solving it. And if they identify wrong, then their turn gets skipped and they stay on the same tile. Inhabilitator. Force an opponent to move back given amount of spaces. Progress cards. A player draws a progress card when they land on a green tile. Progress cards help the player progress throughout the game. Progress cards are action cards that tell the player what to do for that turn. Unlike power cards, progress cards are played immediately after they are drawn, so you cannot stash them away. Progress cards include Breakthrough, move forward given spaces, Research Grant, draw 2 power cards and keep 1, Redox, swap places with the closest player in front of them, and if nobody is in front of them, then just move forward 1 space. Safety Goggles, you are immune to all negative effects until it is your turn again, and move forward 1. High Enthalpy, move forward given amount of spaces. Low Entropy, take the place of the closest player in front of you. That player then goes to the next player in front of them. And if you're playing with more than 2 people, then you don't just swap places. It is almost like a cycle. So that the person in the back takes the next person in front. Whoever's in the front moves to the back. Increase surface area. Choose which tile you want to land on within 4 spaces. So if the 4th space is a hard reaction square, you probably don't want to land on it. So you could choose which one you want to land on within 4 spaces. Safety cards. Safety cards are drawn when a player lands on a teal tile. Safety cards act as a safety check. This means that they are pop quiz cards. Each card will act as a unique chemistry-related question that must be answered to move forward a given amount of tiles. If they answer incorrectly, they stay where they are, and they stay on that tile until they get the question correct. Safety cards can ask questions such as, is HCl a strong or weak acid? Is AgCl soluble in water? Each player only gets 60 seconds to answer this question. Chaos cards. Chaos cards are drawn when a player lands on an orange tile. Chaos cards are usually negative to either the player that draws them or every player. Chaos cards will give the players directions on how many tiles to move. Examples of chaos cards are acid spill, everyone move back a given amount of tiles. Unstable reaction, roll the dice, if even, then move forward that amount on the die. If it's an odd number, then move backwards the amount on the die. Periodic panic. The card will specify which block players will have to identify, but all of the players must correctly identify an element from the given block, an S block, P block, or D block. To continue the game, if one player names an incorrect element, everyone moves back 3 spaces. If everyone names an appropriate element, then everyone moves forward 3 spaces. Lab explosion. Everyone gets rid of all of their power cards. Safety goggles and neutralization do work to combat this effect. So if you drew a safety goggles card during your round and then your opponent draws lab explosion, you would not need to get rid of all of your power cards. Vaporization. The player that draws the card must give all their power cards. But again, safety goggles and neutralization do work to combat this. Broken glass. The player moves back a given amount of tiles. Elemental entropy. Like periodic panic, you have to identify an element from either S block, P block, or D block, but only you have to, not all of the players. And again, move forward 3 spaces if you get correct, move backwards 3 if incorrect. Board features. The board features 3 different zones: Catalyst Cove, Double Trouble, Dangerous Desert, Chaos Cliff, and Safety Strait. Catalyst Cove is a 12-tile zone of power cards and progress cards, meant to help build up a deck of power cards to help you later in the game. Double Trouble is a 13-tile zone mixed of all different types of reaction squares, where the player must solve 2 of the same category reactions in the same amount of time. But if the player gets it correct, they move double the spaces forward, and if they get it wrong, then they move double the spaces back. Dangerous Desert is an 18-tile zone of hard reactions, chaos cards, and safety cards. Chaos Cliff is a 10-tile zone of chaos cards, power cards, and hard reaction cards. Safety Straight is a 12-tile zone of safety cards, easy reactions, progress cards, and power cards. Scolding Road. In order to be eligible to go down Scolding Road, the player must solve the tile that Scolding Road is connected to, which happens to be a medium reaction square. So you must get the medium reaction square correct to be able to go down Scolding Road, which acts as a shortcut through the board. And then to be able to go down it, you must roll a 4-sided die to determine how many hard reaction problems you must do in only 60 seconds. If you want to pass through the shortcut, but if you fail, you are not penalized. You can still move forward the 3 spaces from solving the purple tile. Game pieces. All of the features of the game pieces can only be used once during the entire game. The wave piece, the lightning piece, fire piece, ice cube piece, plant piece, and air piece. The wave piece allows a player to redraw a card and put the discarded card in the used pile. The lightning piece allows a player to move double spaces. Fire piece can skip a tile but still get the reward. Example, lands on a pink tile, does not want to have to do the hard reaction, but still gets to move forward 4 spaces. Ice cube piece can freeze an opponent. After they solve a reaction, you can freeze them, and then they can't move forward. That's a good example of how to use it. A plant piece, which can ignore a negative effect. So let's say you get a reaction wrong. You don't want to move back a space, or you draw a chaos card. It says move back 3 spaces. You don't have to if you play your ability on that turn. And finally, the air piece can swap places with one player of their choice. Once again, all of these can only be used once per game.